All right, fantastic. Well, I'm not sure if anyone's going to join us today, but let's go ahead and get started. So I'll just start by introducing myself. My name is Lisa Vo. I'm one of the founders of Real Estate Coaching Collective. And today we're going to be talking about scrubbing your Follow Up Boss database so you can find those duplicates. You can find what I call fluffy keywords. You know how sometimes we get some leads from like our MLS or yard sign, or somebody signs up on our website and it happens to be like the agent who wants to show our property or something like that. And so sometimes we have those agents sitting in our database. Sometimes we think it's a lead. And so you'll want to look for those fluffy keywords so we can pull those people out and basically go through our list and keep it a clean list. So leads are truly leads, contacts are truly contacts or agents, and we can separate the two. So that's what today's going to be about. And I am going to go ahead and just pop in and just walk you step by step how to do that. Now, if you stay around to the very end, I do have a giveaway, a freebie for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Give me 1 second and just double checking. I think you should be able to see it. But basically, this is my Scribe How, and I can share this as a giveaway, and we'll post this up after the event. But basically, we can give you this to you on how to export and organize your contacts. And it literally gives you the 83 different steps you can do to organize your account using just Google Sheets or Excel. And it's a free tool, so you don't have to pay anything extra for it. Okay. All right, so sounds good. First thing we're going to do is basically log into your Follow Up Boss account. I'm already logged in, so you can go ahead and see I already have my blur mode on, so you can't see all my contacts. But basically, the first thing you want to do, I think usually people, there's not a tool in here that I was finding when I was using Follow Up Boss to basically look for duplicates, right? Sometimes I would just go and just type in like John. I can see all the people to see if there's any duplicates. I've had people do like just A's so they can look at all the A's and all the like the B's in a row and then like cleaning up that way, right? Other times I also find that maybe I put John in here and a, John Smith versus Jonathan Smith, but it's the same person, right? So what you kind of need to do inside your database is look for what we call unique identifiers, right? So if you ever do data analysis and things like that, or build any like no-code tools inside of like Airtable and stuff, you want like a unique number, almost like your social security, right? Like what is the one thing across all my contacts that will allow me to uniquely identify this person? So for databases, it's usually two different things. It's either a phone number, because technically only one person has one phone number attached to them. Or two, it's an email address. Most of the time, husband and wives and things like that share multiple like the same email. But that is one way we can do a unique identifier. So that's really the foundation of how we're going to do our database cleanup is we want to look for one of those two unique identifiers. So first thing you can do is basically go to your people screen, all people. I'm going to click right here on the left-hand side where your name is. So it's going to select just that set of people. As you can see right now, it only selects the first people on my first page of 22 people. I want to select my entire database if I want to try to scrub and clean this. So I'm going to go ahead and select all 1,496 people. And I'm going to go ahead and export this. Do I want to export the columns? Yes, I want to export all the columns. And I'm going to hit yes, export all the people. So give it a little bit. On the little bottom right left, it tells you how many people or what the percentage that's downloading. So we want to wait to get that to 100%. So once we do that, we'll let that download, give that a second, and fantastic. So that has now downloaded to my computer. So I have that. I am going to go and open up my Google Drive. And I'm just going to call this a test folder, test cleanup folder. And you don't have to create this folder, but I'm just doing it so I can find it easily later. I'm going to go ahead and use my, since I'm on Google Workspace, you can use this Excel or whatever you have as well. But you can just drop what we call the CSV file. It's basically like a text version of like Google Sheets or Excel. And that way you can have that saved to your Google Drive. What I want to do is go ahead and open this up inside of a Google Sheet. So two ways you can do this. you can just do right click here, open up, and you can open up in Google Sheets, and it'll automatically open up all of that information. Okay. So let's wait for that to go ahead and do that. Great. Now into my entire database is here, and I can look and I can search for people. Again, it's in a weird format. I'm not too worried about that. This is not what I'm going to be using to scrub my data, right? Next thing I'm going to do now, for those who loved math in school, this will be maybe hopefully a little easy peasy for you. For those who didn't, just bear with me. I'll try to go a little slow as far as like how I use pivot tables. And you can also use charts and graphs and stuff as well. But pivot table is going to be your greatest friend. What I'm trying to do is, out of this 1,496 people that I just exported, I added to Google Drive. I'm looking at all my data. I want to go and I want to create a pivot table, basically like, how do I organize all of this so I can find those that have like maybe multiple emails or multiple phone numbers that are together, right? So go to your insert button if you're using Google Sheets, go to pivot table, and we're just going to create a new pivot table into a new sheet. Okay, so that is right there. It just automatically created a pivot table for you, and you can now like basically organize to your heart's desire. So remember, we had talked about in the beginning, the foundation was the email, right? I'm going to look for the first email. And so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm basically going to drag and drop that into my first row. And great. Now I have all the emails that are here. What I want to do is I want to see how many of these emails have the count of 2 or more. Meaning if I had lisa@lisa.com and that was counted twice in my database in my follow-up boss, that's going to let me know that, hey, you have 2 contacts that have the same email address in your database. That is one of the ways that I kind of filter and duplicate and know that, hey, I probably have a duplicate if 2 contacts are sharing the same email address. So what I wanted to do, I don't know if you saw that I just did that pretty quickly, but here for values, I want to add the value of email number 1, because that's the emails I'm checking, the primary email. And I want to count, right? And this automatically defaults to count all. So what I'm looking here is basically anything that has a number of like 2 or above. Now, obviously, I've been cleaning my database pretty well. I don't have anybody who has like duplicate emails, but that's why you just see the count of 1 here. Now, if you see one, somebody who has 2, you can see which one has like 2 emails on the left-hand side. What I would then do is just grab that email, right? And I would go over to my follow-up boss, pop in that email. It should show you all the people that are listed under that email address. So that way I can merge them and, you know, put them together. So that is basically the like very easy way of finding the duplicate, that you can look in the pivot table. You can find and see how many people are sharing that same number of email addresses as well as phone numbers. So let's go through and do the phone number count, right? So I'm going to delete and clear all of this again. Again, I'm going to go down here, look for a couple ways. You can look for phone up here, or you can just like search for it. I'm going to look for phone number 1. Great. There's a bunch of phone numbers there. I'm going to look for my values, and I'm going to count how many phone numbers have more than 2 assigned to them. And look, there's one that I have that has 2. So let me grab that number. Let me see who is both attached to this number. And great, these 2 are together. So I probably, for some reason, had them come into my database incorrectly. So I want to look at that view of people. And now this is showing me my 2 duplicates. So what I want to do now is I can select both of these because I know they're duplicates. Or you could have just selected this button at the top. It'll select everybody in this list of the duplicates. Here is where your mass action comes in. So if you haven't used this, it's a really great feature that I love. You can go here and merge the people. So let's click on merge people because I know I want to put these together. And it's going to ask you, which main person do you want to basically keep? I want to keep Rachel because this is actually her phone number. And basically, this is still her phone number. It's just I didn't have her name in this one for whatever reason. And then I'm going to go and hit yes, I'm going to merge these two people. Now, let's say this was a husband and wife. This was Rachel, and let's say maybe this was her husband's number that was assigned to him. I may not want to merge these two together because this one actually should be her husband's name. What I could do is click merge people as relationships. What happens is it takes this record up here. It'll add it as a second relationship to Rachel. And then I can go and rename that person to Rachel's husband, right? So normally I just merge them together because this is not two separate people. They are not relationships. It is one and the same person. So I'm leaving this unchecked. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and merge these two people. And as you can see, we just finished our cleanup. So now Rachel, when I take a look at her, has just one phone number. Again, it's like grayed out for my privacy reasons. But yeah, her number is now added. And the great thing is my favorite part is there's a timestamp. I can see when it was merged and what the last name was. Now, you can't unmerge. So make sure like when you're going through this process, you're really careful with your data as you're cleaning it up, as you're merging it together. But I can see the timestamp of when it was merged and everything like that. Again, had I selected the merge as relationship, that second person, if it was her husband and that was his number, I could have put it here and you would see no name with that phone number added as a relationship. But again, like I said, that number belonged to Rachel. So we just merge it together so that we have one clean record. Okay. So I will go ahead and do that. So if you were to run the same basically steps again, we export it, we send it over to Google Drive, we open up and do a pivot table, you will no longer see that 2, it will just be a number 1. Okay. And that is basically my cleaning up for this month because I only had one duplicate. So I normally would keep this here. I would rename this as my FUB duplicate checker. You know, I'll keep the all people 2024 so I know that that's what was exported out and the date it was exported. So in case I ever want to go back and say, hey, like what happened? Somebody merged things incorrectly. I will keep a log of my exports. And that way I can always go back to it and reverse engineer it if somebody like accidentally cleaned up my duplicates incorrectly. So I would normally say for the best practice for this, I would normally do this on a monthly basis. So obviously month end is pretty crazy for us real estate agents. I would probably do maybe like the middle of the month, like to set it on the 15th, put a time block for, you know, maybe 30 minutes of your time to be able to do that. And that way you can like, you know, clean it up and things like that. Now, we did talk about fluffy keywords. Remember, we had talked about like agents and realtors and things like that that we want to take out of our database. 2 ways that you can do this. Since you've already exported everybody out into a CSV file, I'm looking at it right now inside of my Google Sheets template. I could just do a control find. I can look for that inside of the sheet. For me on my Mac, I just do the Command F. I believe it's Control F if you're doing Windows. But let's say I just want to look for the word realtor. Or let's say kw.com, right? That's a very popular, I know that that's always going to be an agent email. So I'm looking for kw.com. I'm looking for remax.net, you know, or I'm looking for, you know, like realtor, you know, John or things like that. Those are what I call fluffy keywords that I can go and search for agents that are accidentally in my database as a lead, right? So here I'm looking at Kelly Walters. She was a lead and I can go and look for her inside my database. Now, if Kelly was, and I can do this also in my follow boss. Let's say I look for anybody with kw.com, right? And if anybody here is like accidentally a lead, oh no, they shouldn't be a lead, right? This one should actually be an agent. I would move that over and stage that over to an agent, right? So those are ways, again, you can do the fluffy keyword search and you can clean up your database. Again, keep a copy of this log just in case you need to do so. And you could even highlight it and say, hey, I made this change. So I know that that has been done. So anytime you're doing database cleanup, you want to keep a log. You want to know what's done at what date and time, who did it. And those are ways that you can obviously clean up your database. So again, all of these steps, I know that was pretty quickly since we're a little bit limited on time for our webinar, but you can basically follow step by step. I'm using a tool called scribehow.com. So whenever I'm doing SOPs for my teams, it takes a snapshot of where you need to go. The click where you need to click is highlighted in this orange. And then you can, look and read the steps. The great thing about this as well is it's a free tool. I've never had to pay for it over the past 3 years. And if I need to edit, I can simply hit the edit button and delete the step out, re-record it if that step has changed. So it just really keeps my SOPs like really organized and things like that. And then you can also share it with other people, just like you do in Google Workspace. So you can share it with your whole organization. You can put it onto your website. And then even now there is a little mini video player that gets recorded that you can send to, your people so they can see a little bit of how those steps happen in action. So I think that is a little bit of everything for my database scrubbing and cleaning. And we will basically have this recorded up for you inside of our training library. So this is for a benefit of one of our myrecc.com. It stands for Real Estate Coaching Collective. Again, we're a team of Follow Boss users that have learned how to hack the system, use Follow Boss for all the things in our business, no matter whether we're a single agent or a large team. And basically, a lot of us are FUB moderators or really coaching others to use Follow Boss or your tech systems in a very high efficient way in your real estate team. So if you'd like to join, we do have a Black Friday special going on right now. Normally, the price is $597 a month. We are doing a 20% promotion, so it comes down to $477 a month. But basically, we do once a week webinars like this. We deep dive into the system. You can come with your live questions so we can actually walk you through how to implement, how to do that, and you have a takeaway. And then you also have access to all of our basically training library of the videos that we've done in the past. And then also we have really cool discounts for integrations, partners, if you're looking to add transaction management, how can I get set up with that? And is there a discount? And there are usually discounts for our ECC members, or we can help you put you in touch with the right people to get basically your pain points, your solutions done for you. So I think that's about it for today. So it was really great being on this call. Hopefully this was helpful. We hope to bring you more content like this in the future to help you supercharge your real estate tech stack and your operations. So any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.